Well, Andy Gallagher joins me now live from Caracas. And Andy, let's start with Leopoldo Lopez. There was an arrest warrant out for him. He's handed himself over. Do we know what's going to happen to him?
Well, surely we think he's at the Justice Department awaiting charges, and he's had some very serious charges levelled against him, including murder and incitement to riot, damage to public property, and even terrorism. So he is facing some very serious charges. But remember, this was a man that through the last few days, through his Twitter account, had basically been challenging the authorities to come and arrest him. I think he was prepared for what happened today. But Nicolas Maduro, the government of Venezuela, now faces a fairly difficult challenge. Do they charge him and give him a trial, potentially making him a martyr for the cause? But he has now been detained by the authorities. He is at the Justice Department awaiting those charges, but we don't know what will happen to him next.
He's not the only opposition leader, of course, and the opposition does seem to be divided. Are these protests a real threat to President Maduro?
I don't think they are in the big picture, because if you do look at the opposition, as you say, they are fairly fractured. There's something like 30 different parties. And if you look at the main opposition leader, he's distanced himself from the actions of Mr. Lopez, saying that perhaps this is not the best way to tackle Venezuela's problems. They should do it democratically, do it perhaps through a different means, through the democratic process. And some of them have actually distanced themselves from him. But he has certainly become a figurehead for students. He certainly drew thousands of people on the streets today and brought a lot of international attention once again to Venezuela. But Nicolas Maduro, in a very long speech following the arrest, made some quite bizarre comments, claiming at one point that he'd actually saved Mr. Lopez's life. He said the government had uncovered a plot in which Mr. Lopez's own supporters were going to kill him to make him a martyr, and they've actually now rescued him. But I think key to all this is how Leopoldo Lopez's supporters will now react, given that he's in detention. Will they once again take to the streets despite his pleas for them to continue peacefully protesting, or will they in fact get angry and we'll see yet more scenes in Caracas like we've seen over the last few days? But that really remains to be seen.
Andy, thanks very much indeed for that. Andy Gallagher reporting there live from Caracas.